Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the introduction webinar of Alice. Today, we are going to give a clear overview about what the Alice bookkeeping system can benefit with your company. This webinar will take up about 30 minutes. We are giving you a background of the accounting software. Also explain how Alice benefits you. Give a small demo about the Alice software, and after the demonstration we have all time to basically explain all your questions you might have. We start with the background of Alice. We wanted to make software and bookkeeping system for people who are not accountants, which basically means that it is important that we keep it simple, automate as much work as possible, and actually make sure that it will not take a lot of time for you and your company to use Alice Accountancy software. So one of the features we actually added is that you can create reports without having to put efforts. Normally, it will take a lot of math and a lot of calculations to make, for example, a ledger report or balance sheet, and we actually automated that process with the Alice Accounting software. To make it more easy for you to invoice your clients, we added an invoice creation module. And this module has a lot of online payment options so that your clients can directly pay you online, which reduces the time your invoice is open with a lot. So we added Stripe for credit cards, Visa, we added PayPal. You can also connect with, for example, Paytm. And with the payment modules, you can have your clients pay with over 400 banks connected, which is about 85% of the entire banking industry in the market. Well, one of the benefits of Alice for your company is that it's cloud-based. What does this mean? First of all, you don't have to install it on your own environment, so on your own desktop. This makes it accessible on any internet-enabled device. So you can use your laptop, desktop, mobile phone to use the system. Also, this gives a good option to actually collaborate with your colleagues. So you can immediately take a look into the books together, share it with your accountants, and don't have to be in office behind the device to actually have a good overview of your financial situation. Aside from that, we added a lot of options to give you more insights in your financial situations. So we added reports, we added beautiful dashboards, even overdue and aging reports that you can just see what is the status currently of my company, how many invoices are open, and which of my clients do not pay in time. And the nice thing is that if that's the case, Alice does the follow-ups for you. So she can send reminders. We spoke to a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of freelancers, and it's one of the most points they have issues with. It happens that if you do a lot of your services or deliver products to your clients and they do not pay in time, it gives a lot of headaches. So we wanted to help out with that. Us, as a kind of an assistant, help you following up and chasing these clients. So this saves a lot of work, because you can focus on the things you love and why you started being a freelancer and entrepreneur, and just doing the job. It needed to be easy to use. So for you, we wanted to make sure that it's understandable. We call it Mickey Mouse. Yeah, it needs to be easy. Not many difficult names. Just a few clicks away to get your invoice out, create a project, report, or do your expenses. And we created a good value for money proposition with both a free version for Alice, but we also have a business version for Alice, which we actually utilize for your entire company, and we chose not to go for a user-based payment module, which again is a very good option for SMEs, freelancers, entrepreneur, and small companies. So some of the key features of Alice include we have dashboards, the invoicing module we delivered, where you can create an easy professional-looking invoice online. You can do payment tracking. And the payment tracking option actually makes sure that you know when you get paid. Expenses, so you can add receipts and don't forget about the receipts again, because this is also a very common thing we hear. And I think it happens with a lot of people. You go to the shop, you get something for the office, let's say pencils, and your bookkeeper asks you 2 weeks later, can you please hand over the receipt because I saw a withdrawal on the bank account. So where did you leave that receipt again? So with Alice, we made it possible that you can just snap a picture, she digitalizes it immediately, puts it online. And the nice thing is that she does immediately receipt and invoice recognition, which makes it possible that it immediately automatically books the receipt and invoice away and updates your reports. We added a product inventory to make it possible that you can use your stock management, which is a help for a lot of product-based companies. We did reporting. Reporting is, for example, your balance sheets, ledger reports, profit loss, low stock registrations, which gives you an overview. And these are actually reports normally your accountant creates, but currently Alice does it for you without having to do the hassle of all the math and all the calculations. Aside from that, it is important that you can easily collaborate. Yeah, so you can collaborate with your accountants, credit collect officers, a lawyer if necessary. We hope it's not the case, but it might be, or any third parties, and of course our support if you want. Which gives you a very good and easy to use communication tool between all parties involved. So let's take a look at the Alice Accountancy demo. We added an online version of Alice where you can see the system yourself. And we're going to run you through the first steps if you create your own Alice accountancy software online. You can actually start utilizing it. And I'm going to explain you today some of the basic functionalities we added in the system. So the first time, if you first time log in to the system, you have registered on our website. I added the registration link below if you're watching on YouTube. You can simply click that. If you're watching on our website, you can click on sign up or register. The first thing, if you register, you will receive an email. In that email, you find your login credentials, which you can log in to your own. When that happens, when you first time log in, you get the introduction screen of Alice. Introduction screen. In this introduction screen, you find a video where Alice explains herself the first functionalities. So she, for example, explains how to change your language settings, explains the navigation items, as you can see on the left here, and also where you need to start with getting your company information, or if you need to have a bit of an explanation of a certain page. I'm going to run you quickly through this part. We can find the English settings. We currently have English language added on the right top corner. You see the notification tab, which is the bell icon. We have a help section where you can click it and it will explain you the page in a tour form. On the left side, we see the main navigation. So we see dashboard, client, invoices, and a lot of other functions, and the collaboration options. And the nice thing we actually did is that we added a knowledge base for commonly asked questions, which we call the Ask Alice section. These are knowledge articles where you can see commonly asked questions on accountancy or how to run and set up your business. So what we did, the first time we logged in, and it's actually asking you to fill your company information. Of course, we need to have our company information filled in to actually start utilizing the system. So if we click the Fill Company Information button, we're getting to this page where we can add our company name, address details. I'm currently sitting in India, in a city called Ahmedabad, mobile number, how you want to have your date selection done. So you can do the US version, English version, but also European version. Your contact details, logo, which is used on your invoices again. You can add your statutory details, and you can add payment details. And these are some of the payment providers we connected with the system already. If you choose to connect with a payment provider, you have to connect your merchant ID key and your secret key. These are functions every payment provider delivers, and you can find on the website of the designated payment provider to find some. If you connect this function, as soon as you create an invoice and send it to your client, on the left side they will find options how to pay you online. So let's take a look at the dashboard. We have a version here where we put a lot of information in, basically to take a look how it works. We can see the total profit, and we can compare yearly numbers. So we can see the difference between 2016 and 2017. We can see the total spending, how much did we spend in this period. We can see outstanding revenue. These are invoices we have opened. So we can see which invoices are outstanding and which are overdue. We can see the spending by category, which basically gives me a good overview in a pie chart, how much money I'm spending on what kind of products or services, which makes it possible that you can identify the gaps more easily. On the left bottom, you see an activity log, and we have a quick overview for simple reports. So you can find profit and loss, balance sheet, ledger, trial balance, expense, and stock summary. However, in the report section, you find much more. These are the commonly used reports you can also immediately find on the dashboard. So we now have set up our company information. We've seen the dashboard screen. The next thing is that we actually start working with our clients. So what we first do, we can create a client in the client section. We have two different views we can use. We call it the box view, which gives a small overview of client in boxes, where you can see the information, contact details, city they're in. However, if you find it more convenient, we also have a list view enabled, where you can easily see everything in a list or table format. On top, you find the search bar. In the search bar, you can use any of the client information you have. So you can, for example, start typing client, and it will filter everything where client is used. This makes it possible that you can, for example, see how much clients do I have in a certain city, or how much clients do I have in a region or in a country, which helps you with defining demographics or all the filter options you can utilize. So we have two big buttons if we want to create a new one. Client section on the left side, in the box view, or on the right top corner, we have a green button to click, and you can add a new client. So when we start creating a client, we have the general settings we need to understand from a client side. So the name of your client, which can also be a consumer, it doesn't have to be necessarily a company. So if you deliver consumer-based products or services, you can use Alice also with these. You can add the company settings, email, phone number, street address, zip codes or postal code, city, state, country. If it's a company and you do foreign business, or in some countries it is required by law, you can add a tax registration number of your client. On the right side, we see reminder settings. Where is this function used for? We can define, aside from the default reminder settings we can find in settings, we come later to that section, we can set reminder settings for specific clients. What does this reminder settings do? It will send on a basis we define reminders to the client if they have not paid your invoice yet. So we can do that months or certain days after the invoice creation or due date, or just before it gets due. To just give the client a small reminder, please don't forget to pay our invoice because we provided beautiful products and services for you to deliver. You can, however, also charge a fee when overdue. This is a requirement from a lot of companies. It is one of the things which, as you can understand, if you have a lot of reminders and a lot of follow-up you have to do for a client, it will give a lot of administration costs. Some companies want to charge this to their client, and it's an option we added in the system. Also add a currency and a language. With the currency and the language settings, we can also see what kind of currency do we invoice this client and what language does he speak, he or she speak. So let's take a look at a client screen. So we created a client. Let's take a look at client form. No, let's take a look for one with actually invoices in it, which makes it a bit more easy for all of us to understand. So we're taking a look at Frank. Frank is a consultancy company. He's currently based in Mexico. And we see that Frank has one invoice of $1, but his invoice got overdue. So we can take a look what we added. We saw that we did some activities. We created the invoice at 27th of Jan 2017. We looked at the invoice itself and made some notes. So we see that we put an invoice for 1 rupee, excluding tax. We gave no discount, and currently it's overdue. So what we can do, Alice is currently can easily send for us reminders on this regard. I will show you a small trick in the system where she can immediately follow up on every single overdue invoice. Aside from that, we see some options. We can easily print it. We also have a download option available, but we have not enabled it in the system. So let's take a look in the invoice section. Because Frank is not the only one who sends invoices. We see that we have a total invoice base of $59,000. And 766 is outstanding, 58,000 is overdue. That's a big issue. That's a lot of money. And we created a lot of, some of them in overdue, which is 65,000. What we did in the invoice section is that we made differentiators with labels. So the different colors explain in what status the invoice is. We have blue for draft, orange for outstanding, red for overdue. Clients can also sometimes partially pay an invoice or totally paid, which is totally green. Yeah. So I now want to take a look to the overdue help, because I want to have an understanding of every single overdue invoice. Alice currently shows me an overview of all overdue invoices, and she has immediately sent, because I asked her to do so, send reminders to the overdue invoices according to the schedule they're on. So if it's the first time that they're late, it's a kind reminder. You can do a second reminder or a last reminder. That's entirely defined by your specific needs. Again, we see the search box again, and this is the box view. But we also have a list view option, where we can easily see every single overdue status, paid status, draft status, and every header we can filter on. We can filter on creation date, the status, due date, which makes it more easy for us to actually follow on that. Aside from that, we also see the same buttons as we had before. One of the most important things we did is actually keep it similar for every part. So you can create an invoice again with this box. Before we do so, since this is the first time we actually came to this page, we want to understand how the page works. So on the right top corner, we have the question mark icon, which actually gives me a small tour about how the system exactly works. So we can easily create an invoice, or we can see how to change receiving invoices or which we send out. It explains every single section, and this is available on every page inside the Alice system. So let's create a new invoice, because we want to get paid for services we delivered. So what we did, we can first select a client. Who are we going to send an invoice? Let's send it today to ABC Company. On the right side, it automatically created a follow-up invoice number, the date of issue, and the due date, which we can also just change by clicking it. Let's for now give them 7 days to pay our invoice. We can give a small summary for products, please find attached. Please find the invoice below. Kindly pay within 7 days. However, I'm now doing it manually. We can also save this as default, so we don't have to do it again. So let's take a look. We now did consultancy. I spent 1 hour. I call it consultancy. We can immediately add it to our database if we want, so that we can reuse it. I can give us a small description. If I want to do that, it gives me a small pop-up. We can add the product or service name, any stock if required. These are options where we're just going to take a look later on in the product section. And I just hit the wrong button. I apologize for this. So let's take a look at consultancy. Let's do description. We gave consultancy on freelancing. We're charging in 20. And let's take a look what kind of tax. Now, in this case, we're going to do 10% service tax. This part, the taxation, you can actually do in your settings options, which makes it possible that you can add your own tax, which is applicable in your own country or region you do your business in. Now, it now looks all good to me. I can immediately save it or send it, and I can also print it out. Aside from that, I can, if I not have already added any payment options, I can add them here. Make it recurring. If this is a regular consultancy we do for our client, it's for example every month. Put the reminder schedule on, and add the currency and language. Let's just for now save it and continue. If I have saved the invoice, it will show me the activities when we created it. I can also manually add a payment if he paid. So which I, for example, can do the amount that he paid, how he paid by bank transfer, cash, check, credit card. If it's not done by a payment provider or online wire transfer, it will connect and automatically update the section. As you can understand, Alice cannot track any cash. However, you can add manually if your client did so. Let's take a look at products. This is the product section. And the product section is actually great for companies who deliver physical products or online products to their customer. Because normally we utilize, in that case, a stock. Because if we, let's say we sell coffee cups, if we have 100 coffee cups in stock, we want to track the purchases, the sales, what our closing stock in the end is. Same part we added that you can create one product with the left button or on the right top corner with the green button. But you see a different option here. That's the option for import products. What is quite common for product-based companies is that they have a lot of products they deliver to clients. And manually entering each one of those is very time consuming. So to actually resolve this issue, we created the import product function. With this, you can download our sample. We both have it available in CSV and Excel. And it explains to you what required fields we need to add to update an entire list with each. The database options we did with Alice makes it possible that this upload goes quick and also is saved. If you have, for example, thousands of products, will not put an additional load on the loading time of Alice. Aside from that, we have a quantity. We can filter out with quantity, status, is it in stock or out of stock. We can see the vendors we actually collaborate with. In this case, we only have one. We can add a new one with the left button or on the right top corner again, and have an archive. What is the main purpose of the archive? If you don't actively sell a certain product, but you still want to keep it in your reports or might reuse it later on, let's say in 5 years, you can actually save what you did in the past with this. The reports and give you just a bit more information. However, you cannot actively use it in your invoice. If you just want to change it, you click it open and put it on active again. Aside from that, we have expenses. Expenses tab, we can add our invoices, we can add the receipts, or anything we combined. If you take a look in the add expenses section, we can click a category. So we, for example, did something on advertising. We can create a vendor. Vendor example. An invoice number, if you have the invoice lying around, and the date that we have it. We have an additional description, which can also be used for internal usage. For example, we did this advertising to promote some of our products on a business exhibition. You can easily upload it by clicking or drag it in on the right top corner. If you do so, she will start automatically recognizing the invoice and fill your data sheet in. So currently we bought advertising services, categories. So we have a lot of categories we can also add, which tax applies, and the purchase price we bought it for. If we want to add another line, we can easily do so. Delete it again. You can print it out, preview, add the additional tables in. We basically wanted to make sure that you have all options to do what you need to do in this section. And I can simply save the expense. Important section is the reports. In the reporting sections, we see different reports we currently standard provide. So, which is, for example, the balance sheet, profit loss, ledger, trial balance, expense, stock, low stock, tax summary, or flat summary. So if you want to take a look, for example, to our, let's say, profit loss, we can select a date. So we can say I want to have everything between December and today. I can run the report. And I can and it updates it automatically. I can see my revenue and sales. I can see my cost of goods. I can see my operating expenses, just as it should be by accountancy rules. And I can simply create a PDF report, or if you want to utilize it in your own on your own computer in Excel for whatever reasons, you can also easily generate a CSV file. These options are available in every section of the reporting options. So, for example, if it's useful for and you are a product-based company, let's take a look in the low stock register, because we need to go to purchasing, times, the closing stock, the minimum stock, and I can immediately create a CSV file and send it over. These are the new quantities we want to order to basically have our stock back in options. The same we have with ledger, trial balance, VAT summary, tax summary, which gives you a lot of options and actually impress your accountant. What we actually did for not product-based companies is that we added a small project section. In the project section, you can collaborate with team members, and this gives you a good option to just make small projects. So if you are a small IT company, let's say 3 to 4 people, and you just have a new client, nice new project you got, you can also utilize this Alice to manage these projects. One of the examples we have here is that we have one of the test projects going on. We can take a look to add a task. We give the task a name, example task. We can assign a team member. Let's see, team member 13. Start date, end date, estimated time. We might need 10 hours for this. And when are we going to start on this task? 21st. We can give a task description. And what happens as soon as I create the task, the team member assigned gets a notification that there is a new task available for ordering. So we can now see that it's planned. We can start progress. We can start a timer if you want to utilize this. We can put it also on hold. We are waiting currently for requirements of the client. Edit it, delete it, or simply complete the task. As soon as we have completed the task, it goes in the complete section, where we see that we currently have 4 tasks completed in total. However, if our client basically states, well, this task is not quite done, we can reopen it with one click of the button. Aside from that, we also have journals. The journal option, if you want to create a journal, same option as before. You can add a new account. Select, for example, accounts receivable. Example journal. Select the dates. You want to see all the debits. It's 100 opening balance. So, aside from that, we see settings options. In the setting options, we can actually add our company information again, invoice settings. So if we want to start our invoice number at number 1, project number also number 1, invoice payment settings on the side, and also invoice footers if you want to add additional text in it. We can easily change the password if we want to utilize. By default, Alice sends an automatic generated password just to ensure safety. Because as you can understand, if we deal with financial information, we want to make sure that you're safe. Is protected. However, for ease of use, you can easily change your password in the password change password settings section. Settings. In the email settings, you can basically say, okay, I want to use my own email to send it from. You use your SSL so that you, for example, if you send your email to your client, that it comes from your own account. If the client responds, you get an update in your own. So if you want to add any text rules, we can add it in the text section. So we can add a new text. Let's say, for example, in the Netherlands, we, for example, have 21%. It's called BTW, which is tax. The tax rate is 21%. Use it in our invoices. We want to utilize. What we did, we added every single currency available in the world. So you don't have to manually add or take a look at the symbol which you need to utilize. It's already there. We added this for you. We want to add some new categories to filter out, to actually where you book it under. This makes it possible that you can define some categories on products you sold or expenses you put, so you do, which you can filter out in the Alice section later on. So in the settings, you can add your new categories to have it booked under. From this, Alice learns actually what your preferences are. So if you want to add your terms and conditions, to actually make sure that you don't have to use this option, you can use it in settings, put your default terms and conditions in. She utilizes it in the invoices she sends to the customers. Because we have a differentiator in the free version and the business version, which basically has to do with the amount of records you can use. A free version has a limited amount of invoices, and it's basically used for very small companies, startups, people who just are starting with their company or do not do that many invoices. We have a free version available. If you want to go for a business version, explore the full options. In the settings, you can also find the subscription. Currently, I'm using the Indian version with rupee. For example, 500 rupees, which is about $7 to $8. You can do per quarter or yearly. This part makes it possible for you to actually use full functionalities of the system. Aside from that, we have a Ask a Friend section, which makes it possible to collaborate. So we can easily collaborate with our accountant, send them a message. First time is for the first message we send to our accountant is actually to invite or connect with us, so that we can actually work in the system together with your accountant. Same is for your reclamation or credit collection office. a lawyer, or our support if you need any help. If you need any help, on the right side, also we have our own chat functionality, where you can immediately ask us any question on how the system works, or how to do certain things, or if you have any feedback. We're more than happy to hear from you. On the right right side, you see all the time, you see this little picture coming in. This is actually the AI we connected with Alice. Alice is connected with a central database, which actually learns from all the users who are utilizing Alice. And this actually makes it possible that she gains a lot of experience on how to help you, and we can use some best practices in the market to make sure that your liquidity is in order and your books are always up to date. Last section we have is the Ask Alice, and in the Ask Alice section you see articles. I selected some of them. So what is, for example, the main difference between private and public companies are. I can easily see, for example, what are the differences and what I can do if this is useful for me. Search for any other questions. The business Google inside of your own system. Last button, which for us is also the end of this webinar, is the logout section. The end of the demo, is the logout section. Where we can just log out of the system and go back to the sign-in options again. Have any questions? Because we now come to the Q&A. Feel free to add it in the chat. The chat is on the right side of the screen. So we are more than happy to answer any questions you might have, so that you actually learn how to utilize the system better.